What's going on, everybody? LK here. So today, a little more Guilty Gear for you. So past couple of videos on Guilty Gear have been about Asuka, and so is this. But instead of talking about guides and stuff, my question is Asuka as hard as people are actually making him out to be? So the big running meme with this character right now, and what everyone has been saying and posting, is that I heard things like he's the hardest character I've ever played in a fighting game. Not saying that I'm saying that, just heard that from other people, or people are like he's needlessly complex, or I've heard people say what's the point of playing him in the first place, or how are you supposed to keep track of this stuff, how are people even going to win with this character. I've heard just a lot of stuff about the character. So day one of Asuka was quite difficult for a few reasons. So one comes from his special moves. I'm not talking about spells, I'm talking about his special moves like either bookmark, recover mana, or change test case. So to be honest, like straight up on his command list, he doesn't have a lot of special moves, but the problem is the combination of these moves, which a lot of these are like simultaneously do something to him and also cancel in a real match, in combination with these moves. So his many spells that are associated with the different decks that are available, and he has 3. So what ends up happening is, for example, on day 1 you don't know what's the point of doing one thing into the other thing. So for example, I saw that someone said that basically all the cube spells are all advantageous, so you could do a cube spell and then bookmark and then keep going. So this alone doesn't look like that much, right? It's just cool. But if you wanted to do more pressure, like let's say I want to push my turn, this is where it actually gets pretty difficult. But difficult from the perspective of you're just picking him up. So you'll see if you look at above his meter, he has the mana and the cards. You'll see every time I restart, I have different cards. Now the good news is I have this handy dandy test case spell set cheat sheet that Arxis lovingly made with the Asuka starter guide. So it's not that you have access to all his spells, they put different ones in different test cases. So it's just a lot of stuff. You have a lot of tools, and yeah, like basically everything's plus, and it would be all well and good if you could just do spell, cancel spells, cancel spell, cancel. But then the next problem is that every spell costs mana, right? So the other gauge, and frankly the mana gauge is the most important gauge he has. Similarly to when HC came out, very quickly I found from playing him that the bullets matter, but they're really easy to get back compared to the concentration, which is the basically the thing that makes the character work. So Asuka's the same. The mana is the thing that makes the character work. The spells, you get a ton. I've never run out of spells. There's 30 spells in each deck. I have never run out of spells, but I'm sure you've seen meme clips of people dying instantly with no mana, because his life changes when he has no mana. So if I get a throw here, this doesn't do that much damage. He actually has the best defense when he has mana. But in the case you have no mana, now throws are doing esports damage, massive damage. This is a normal throw too. Imagine if you do something like Wild Throw, or Potemkin Buster, or Raw Super. When he doesn't have the shield on, he has by far the worst life total, way worse than Chip. So if someone tells you these things about cancels and you find yourself doing things like this, not realizing that you're running out of mana, and now all of a sudden you have like 20%, 10%. You didn't really do anything. It was hard for you to keep track of everything in the first place, and then now here comes Soul. That example was using training mode, right? So I had the first card set to just be set cards, where again, every time I reset is random. So I actually had to do like training drills of just getting used to doing buttons into spells and doing like the right inputs quickly so that I wouldn't flub in matches, because I just found myself like my hands were getting confused, because it's not that the inputs are hard, it's just quarter circle, down, and there are shortcut commands when you do like spell. You don't have to do like quarter circle back to draw, you can just tap back, for example. So I found myself practicing things like this. And the idea of that was I was just picking a spell. I already know the cat because I practiced it so much already that I already know whether or not I could simply draw or recover mana or whatever. I do the thing and I just keep going. But at the beginning, it's kind of hard. Now, compared to like day one I felt like I was like pressing the buttons really hard. I was like scrambling. I was trying to go really fast. Now I feel very controlled. I'm like, all right, this is just what you do. It's fine. Then the next thing is building a game plan because he has a lot of tools. So however you feel about Soul Bad Guy, Soul Bad Guy does have a lot of tools. He has a lot of neutral tools for different situations and stuff. He's good on offense. He's good on defense. His neutral's okay. But his game plan is pretty straightforward, right? Even from the beginning, it was easy to identify what Soul's game plan is, which is come here and then you use your attack that's plus and you either delay a button to catch action, or if you think they're not doing anything, you run up and throw them. Then eventually, when he gets a resource lead, he gets access to Bandit Revolver to 50-50. I know I didn't do that right. It's fine. This is just for a video. Don't worry about it. And he can win off this if he breaks the wall, because after he breaks the wall, then he has a positive. Then he gets to run around and do Bandit RC until you die. Where while playing Asuka, I find myself doing stuff like if I have this win cube here, I know I'm supposed to do win cube draw, but I don't have an idea of like, oh, like how do you win with the character? Like what is the situation you're aiming for? This is probably the thing that's going to take the longest with him to find. So I feel like the main difficulty of this character is that there's actually just a ton of stuff. There's a ton of stuff and it's not really clear what you're supposed to do with him. But I feel like people were really asking for this kind of character. I've made response videos a couple of times because people tend to go after like Max, for example. But there are other people. It's not just him. I've heard other people say that characters are too simple these days and they want characters with tools where they could just explore and see like something random just kind of happen. I don't want to even say random, like you kind of like mess around and you do something in a match that you just kind of just thought to do and it worked. And I feel like Asuka is the pinnacle of that in this game. I do feel like the other technical characters, so like Jacko, Zato, and HC, while they were being developed, had this aspect to their play. But all these characters have been out for a while. Jacko was the second DLC character to come out, and I want to say HC came out right after her, and Zato's been in the game since the game came out. So at this point, there's a game plan. People have been optimizing. If you're learning these characters, there are people you can look to and be like, oh, this is this person playing Jacko. This is what they do. They do button clap. They summon you. You could see what they're doing and go off that. Where this character, not only does it not exist now, but it probably won't. There probably won't be a super clean game plan of like how you actually win. Like what is the win condition for him for I want to say like a month or two. So I want to say the big challenge of this character is just people getting overwhelmed and people not really being sure what to do in different situations. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to grab one match from day one, so like the end of my first day playing him, and some matches from earlier today when I was playing. Alright, so this is from my stream, right? So this is from the end of my first day playing him. So I'm playing a Potemkin player here. I mean, pings, whatever, but this is after I probably played, I want to say like 40-ish or so matches. So playing him for like a couple hours in matches. So my big problems here is canceling because everything's too fast. I'm not good at like picking like to draw. Like I have a couple of empty card slots on my kick and slash button right now, and mana. So I have no cards, and even though I was cooking, right, I got no mana. So now I'm like one hit away. Potemkin Buster gets rid of the rest of my mana. Now I am about to take a boatload of damage. But we close, thankfully. Then in round number two, you get a nice round start. I discovered from playing him that round start jabs are pretty good. His jab kind of reminds me of like Zato's jab. Okay, I'm taking advantage of his guard crush and stuff. Again, cooking, right? But I'm not good at managing my mana. So there's two, like the cards, again, like missing cards is whatever. The problem here is I have about like 40% mana. And every time I block, I lose a little bit. And every time I get hit, I lose a lot of it. And I'm playing as Potemkin. And remember that he has the worst life, he being Asuka, when the mana is gone. So I make a mistake. I make a mistake. He mashes throw on wake up, and now I'm out of mana. Right? In my face, has 50 meter, forcing situations, guard impact, command grab, I'm dead. He has meter too, so if I survive, he would combo, I die, right? So this all came, we were talking about this on stream. I'm cooking him, honestly. I'm cooking him. I'm just playing fine. The issue is, since I'm not managing my mana, which is the most important resource that he has, that and you know, players will check you, you know. They'll say all sorts of things like, you gotta check them, you can't just let them run their shit, you gotta mash here, blah blah blah, right? But you really feel it on a new character, especially like a difficult character, right? Because he's difficult, no game plan as we mentioned. So I made a mistake. I made a bigger mistake by not replenishing my mana, and now I am in dead zone. By the way, it was kind of funny. This player was saying, "Oh, Potemkin beats him because of this," and I was like, "No, bro. Like, this is the first day the character came out." But again, another round here. So I control the front. I got some plus frames, but it doesn't matter. I burst. Trying to do a reversal slide head. Slightly plus here. Slightly plus here. I'm like, do something. Do something. But again, I'm not really tight. And again, I burned all my mana. So right now I have like 5% mana. And now it's gone. And now I'm like, oh shit. Not only I'm like, oh shit, but I am basically in lose condition here. I don't think he can. Luckily, my shield came back in the middle of the combo, so I endured. But I took so much damage just simply from not managing my mana. So even though I did a good job just doing Asuka stuff, I was burning my resource, putting me in these bad situations here like this. And now I have no cards and then die. But next, and these are from earlier today at the time of this recording, there's a couple against Ram. So one of my stream viewers I'm playing here, I'm going to show a win and a loss, just to show, right? So one, I'm clearly more familiar with his buttons. I have a little bit more structure in my play, a little bit. Two, I am much more cognizant of mana. I'm switching decks, so I switched to, you may not have noticed it because it was fast, but I switched to test case 3 already from neutral, because people are like, how are you going to do this? This is a big combo routing, but I'm not taking a lot of damage from this. I mashed for some reason. The wall break is really huge because I took that, which is 100% my fault. Using more of his buttons and running around mashing on sweep. You know, I'm using 2P, I'm trying to use far slash. Of course, his sweep is super juiced, so of course I'm trying to use it. Better built frame traps. Much more awareness of my cards, and like my inputs are cleaner. It doesn't look like I'm getting overwhelmed. I'm not getting like a lot of accidental, like, oh no, I used the wrong spell, because I'm familiar with all the buttons. I'm familiar with situations more too. I'm actually breaking the wall. Some of my splat situations are not clean, but you know, it'd be like that again, new character. So after the wall break here, I have a big advantage. I purposely, like, now I'm very familiar with all his spells, and I've experimented with all 3 test cases. So you may not realize it, but my mana gauge is orange because I use a reduced mana cost, which is actually pretty good. I want to say that the test case 1 and test case 3 mana cards, I mean, test case 3 is infinite mana, which is dummy, but reduced mana cost is also really good. It lets you go really ham also. With like zoning, combo extensions, like whatever. I'm more aware of when I have cards and when I'm not. I'm not totally trying to be just a mage. I'm trying to be a mage knight. Like, I'm willing to fight. I'm not just running away only, trying to spam spells. I'm playing mid-range. I'm pulling up using different buttons. I'm making fun of him. Oh, Guilty Gear. Ah, Guilty Gear indeed. Going into round 3. Okay. My punish game is not there, so like with Baiken, I would have something prepared. I believe the Baiken punish is just sweep straight up for Dodoro. With Asuka, I don't really know these are specific yet. Jaji way more. I'm confirming my lights, so one big advantage of him is that he actually has really good conversion ability. And the water and like explosion spell, it's called a Screamer 808. They're both confirmable off jabs, which is a big deal. Again, looking at my mana, I realize I use my I use the meter mana recovery in that situation, because actually this is day 4, right? So day 2 and 3, I was essentially exclusively using the HP mana recovery, which is really fast, but I didn't realize that. So like, you know, he has a 75, it's like 0.75 defense modifier, right? So I have this better defense, but I'm killing myself because I'm charging so much with my HP. So in this session, I started using the medium speed one more, the meter one, because he builds a lot of meter naturally with all his cancels, special moves, and things like that. Okay, my defense a little bit more tight, paying attention to the situation. This is just like player skill stuff at this point, because I have no resources. He has no reversal besides the DP card, which basically is not real, and we make it out. That's what that was like a tight one. That being said, it's not perfect though, and what I mean is, despite like that was a win, I would say I was overall down on these games. Again, not a big deal. We're learning the character, figuring the character out. But you notice I kind of was just playing still. I don't really have a goal. Really, I'm kind of just playing with good moves. You know, I don't. It's not like if you look at like my bike end, for example, it's very clear that I have game plans in the matchups, especially the matchups I'm good at. I have very specific game plans. It's very clear that I'm like, this is how I win games. This is how I come back. This is like what I do, and like it's just very, very practice and tight. But from a macro perspective of just like, this is how I want the game to go. Common example being like bike end throwing into like 2 touching you after is a pretty common one on like, it's like should be about like 75% of the cash you can do that to. Where in rounds I do well with Asuka. Like this one I was kind of cooking at the start until he got me and got rid of all my mana, shunned me, and killed me, right? It looks cool, but there's not like too much purpose besides like, oh, I switch to test case 3 if I get like hits in neutral, and like if I get them blocking and I have a thunder cube, I switch into test case 2 and hope I get some mix up stuff, and that's kind of it. People have been floating ideas for win cons using like a test case 3, infinite mana plus auto bookmark. So his card searching, card bookmark recovery spell in test case 3 is called auto bookmark, which is basically you don't have to do the cancel, which is really, really strong. People have been calling it Exodia, which I find very funny. I was like, what is Exodia, bro? He doesn't have an auto-win spell. And they're like, oh, well, infinite mana plus auto-draw card is kind of like auto-win. And I was like, oh, I guess it is. So that's like the thing I've heard people messing with. But you won't see me doing that. So yeah, how hard is he really? I think he's difficult. He definitely earned that 1 star. The way I would put it at the moment, so outside of stuff like we don't know what his long-term win con's going to be, the true big deterrent is that there's a lot of options that you have to be used to doing quickly while also managing the mana at the same time, which essentially is the skill floor is very high. So similar to, again, characters like Jacko, HC, Zato. It might, for example, Happy Chaos, it might sound weird that I'm like, yeah, his skill floor is high. If you've never tried playing him and you don't like him, I could understand. I know he's very cheap. He's got auto zoning. I hate auto zoning too. But if you've never tried playing him, try playing him for like 2 or 3 days and see how you do. It's not easy. It is not easy. I picked up Happy Chaos at this point like a year ago. Because at the time of recording this, we were waiting for a Guilty Gear Strive Season 2 patch a year ago, and I was like, bro, if they don't patch this game before Evo, because we didn't know, I kind of need to play Happy Chaos, right? Like, is this character like actually like the one? So the first like week or so of playing Happy Chaos was rough. Like, not only was it hard to execute on stuff, hard to input stuff, like I was, thinking slow. You like, it's that you're moving around and thinking rather than like you're thinking and then automatically moving your hands. You're thinking about moving your hands. That stuff's rough. But then also everyone hates Happy Chaos, so people are doing stuff like this. So I had a very fun adventure with a soul player at the end of my day 4 session. You can see a little bit better confirms. Again, we're talking about the 2P into water cube confirm. Like, I'm paying attention to it because I know it's available, knowing how to control my space and stuff. Soul is pretty good at fighting the cubes, but if you haven't practiced, it might feel weird. It's a normal game so far, right? But a thing is, though, that I use Asuka's 2P, like Eddie's 2P, and I think Eddie or Zato has like a really just juiced punch, right? And so it gets funny. Some people you run into in the tower, things get weird. And I waited for the gold burst, it didn't come. And then, cool. And this is actually the happy chaos experience. I haven't had this happen too much with Asuka, but when I was learning HC, all I was doing is getting trolled and teabagged, having people send hate mail. Again, I had a second account, a secret second account. I haven't been using it a lot because I've been grinding tower on my main account, but I do have a secret account, so people didn't know it was me. They were just calling me garbage, trash, a couple slurs here and there, you know, typical online gamer stuff. But all I have to say is revenge is pretty sweet, honestly. So even here, you see again, mana management, so I can keep my HP up. He's looking for my burst, so I'm like, you're greedy. We got the confirms on deck off P, so it's fine. But I don't have a practice follow-up there, so it's not a big deal. Controlling space, he's taking hits. Alright, I'm feeling chill. I got good resources. I got like above 50% mana. I'm chilling. Gold burst, a little bit too spooky. My man's pulling up. And, I mean, there was a lot of disrespect going in between us, so I had to let him know. You already know. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. How hard do you think he is? So, again, my thing is just, he's just a skill floor is the big thing of just like what it takes to actually be able to use him in matches compared to other people is the big thing. And I think the people who stick with him, you're going to see some pretty cool stuff. I also think he is the second best DLC character out the gate. I want to say for this patch, I want to say. Or I'm saying that wrong, and I want to say that he is the second best DLC character, and probably the best one out the gate, because Bridget is the best one in Season 2, and she's developed, of course, but on release, people weren't feeling that great about her. Again, let me know what you guys think, though. As usual, if you guys have any questions or comments, definitely feel free to leave in the comment section below. Shouts to all our patrons on Patreon for all the support as usual. We do viewer request stuff there. We got the podcast every Tuesday, 10:30. Hit up the round table. Like and subscribe, you guys feel like it, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace out.